Go? It's happening? Okay. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So welcome to Create Cool Shit. Create Cool Shit became our motto as kind of a reference to always wanting to be more creative, to come up with something new, to like push ourselves. And then it kind of just became like a staple at Southmade, and then everyone loved it, and then it became a sticker, and then it became a neon, and now it's a podcast. So, or whatever this is going to be.
Yeah.
We'll see. So I'm Melissa. I'm one of the owners of Southmade. This is Bailey.
Hello.
And we're just going to jump into it. So how did you start here?
Let's see. So I knew Reagan over here. Reagan, give us a wave. Reagan started, she was probably with Southmade for like 2 years before me, and we were roommates, and she just kind of brought me along for things, and I was at UT studying marketing as my major, and I got to know Melissa pretty well at that time.
And you wanted to hang out with me every day.
Yeah, I just wanted to hang out with them.
I don't blame you. No,
So-
actually, I think Reagan even talked to you about working here initially, and you didn't want to.
No, not necessarily. I was on I was on like a free spirit journey, you know.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
wanted to just like, live life, go surf in Hawaii.
Did you ever?
No.
Oh.
I attempted, but I never made it. I made it to Hawaii, I just didn't make it to surfing.
We're both wearing
But-
tights today. That wasn't planned.
No.
But I do think it's funny. Although, the one bad thing about wearing tights to work,
What?
when you have to pee, because then you have to like totally pull it down and then like hiking it back up.
We're getting completely sidetracked.
But that's the point.
Okay.
Right? That's the point.
What?
So a little bit about Southmade. We specialize in digital marketing, and so we wanted to kind of have this ability to talk about all the things like office life, some of the behind the scenes stuff that we do on content sessions, the trips we get to go on, trends, kind of like all the marketing things, but in a real kind of like authentic way. Right? Not like staged or curated, because I think we get asked a lot of questions, not only about what it's like to work at Southmade, trends, what people should be doing, and I think there's a lot of noise out there about marketing right now, especially social media, and I think it would be nice, refreshing to just have like, hey, look, we do it every day. This is what we're seeing in real time in real life. These are the actual people behind the things making it happen, and this is our opinion about it.
Right.
And just kind of like opening people up to that element, right?
And if they want to work here, what they're getting themselves into.
Right. I mean, like, we are hiring right now, and so I think it's interesting. One thing that we kind of get talked to a lot about is like our application process and how people have to apply here. And we try to make it like an authentic way to actually see what it would be like to work with that person. So instead of them, we actually say, don't send your resume, like apply in some creative way. Over the years, we've had some very creative applicants. You spent like $200 or something on your application.
I spent like $200 at Zool creating a post plan to submit to Southmade, actually, yeah.
And it was great.
Thank
It got
you.
you here. And the company that you actually did that for ended up using some of the content. So that speaks
true.
to the creative shit you created.
There we go.
But I think that's interesting about our industry, and then specifically like Southmade as a whole, because so many places are just inundated with resumes, but you can say whatever the hell you want on a resume. It doesn't really even mean that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
I mean, and now ChatGPT, you can just like give me a resume. So I think it is better if it's like, here's something I actually created. Here's an idea I actually had.
Yeah. I mean, anyone can say they've worked in Canva. It's,
Yeah.
So it's like how you work in Canva, not just if you have.
I mean, I don't work in Canva, but I understand that you guys do. But yeah, and even taking a template, well, everyone can take a template. So like, how would you use that as like an actual marketing piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we talk about a lot now in the office is like posting to post versus posting with a purpose, which is so funny because I've been saying that for years, and then now I'm hearing other firms say it. So I'm like, either they're listening or everyone's kind of catching on to this,
Yeah.
that social is so flooded with the same type of thing, which again, I think that's why like we lean on the create cool shit concept. Not everything we create is cool. Sometimes it's shit, but it's kind of like we're always striving to do that thing or reinvent an idea, or how can we
Yeah.
get people to listen.
I mean, there's no system to creativity at all. And that's what is the most challenging part with the job is
Yeah.
there's different ways to even be creative. You can't just be like, "Oh, this was a great idea," and run with it and be like, "I'm going to do this on every account." You have to be like, "This is on brand for this account." Except like whenever we take trends, cuz sometimes we do that. We'll get our inspo, we'll take a trend, but we completely turn it around into something new. And that's creating cool shit. I mean, a lot of other people will just take a trend and run with it and do the exact same thing.
I think that's what I hate about social
Right.
right now. And not to say we never do it. We do it, right? Sometimes we do it. But when you do see a trend and then you watch it and then the algorithm is like, "Oh my god, she wants to see this
Mm-hmm.
7,000 times today." And then you're just scrolling through the same noise. So I think the key in marketing and applying for a position is standing out. So taking that idea and doing it in a different way, or doing it in a more creative way. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, when you're applying for a creative position, you have to be creative. And so, and for me too, when I was applying, early on in my career, I felt like I had so much to offer and I had all of these ideas, but how could I get someone to pay attention to me just
Mm-hmm.
in like if I'm sending, a cold email, or if I'm applying on a website, they're never going to actually like see me. So I think that's one reason why I wanted to have people apply to work here in a different way that allows them to like personally shine and personally
Mm-hmm.
stand out. So right now I'm pretty sure Emma and Madison are texting each other back and forth about what's happening here.
The way that I did not even notice that.
I did.
Are you?
Yeah. Uh, but they a
I'm like,
1,000% are. So, but I think, and so what piques my interest a lot of times is when people stand up and step out in a different way. Yesterday, we had a kid come in and was like, "I'm sick of, applying via email and nobody calling me back. And I wanted to come in and shake your hand and look you in the face and tell you why I should work here." And I think, like, especially in 2026, that's like a commendable thing. I mean, that takes balls to just walk in
yeah.
somewhere and be like, "Hire me, I'll work, I'll hustle, I'll grind."
Well, that just goes to show too. Like, I mean, if I applied to 50 places, not all of those places I would do that for. It would be the ones that like I wanted the most, you know? So even those people coming in, that tells us like you want to be here even if you have like a million other places you might want to work at or have applied to.
I will add, though, that's not an invitation to come in here for
That's
everybody
true.
to do that, because then you're copying a trend, and also he happened to come in at the right place at the right time. Not, we were there, we could chat for a second, but I actually do think he's going to get a call today. So
There you go.
yeah. But we've gotten some really great applicants over the years. Creative ideas to stand out. So I think, if you're applying for a position, or if you're doing social media for someone, I think that's how you stand out in all things, in all ways, is like standing out, right? So that's like a huge trend in 2026. So, I was listening to which I never listened to the radio. I was listening to the radio this morning, well, Spotify, but I don't pay for it. So there's ads. And the, um, this will make sense once I explain it. But the lady on the ad said something about like, uh, and now, I'm a consumer, I literally, I pay attention to all the marketing
Right,
things
of course,
because
yeah.
of what we do. And like, if I remember something, it's why, like, why did I remember this? Was this successful because of this? How can we implement that type of thing in the marketing that we're doing? But so she said it was an ad for like skincare, and she said something about like your skincare regimen,
Hmm.
and I was like, isn't it regime? Is it regime or regimen?
Regimen,
Is it
right?
regimen? I thought it was regime.
I
But
think it's
then,
regimen.
is it regimen?
Logan, I feel like you'd know. Regimen.
Your skincare regime. I thought it was regime. But it gave me this idea, like what if you intentionally messed up words
Yeah,
to get people to remember that thing,
that's true.
right?
Yeah.
Or I've thought about this a lot because one of my huge pet peeves is people miss, as a former English teacher, which so I should probably know it's regimen, but I hate when people use the wrong your or the
Yeah.
wrong to.
Two.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it just spins me up or there. Like there's certain things you should have learned in elementary school, and we have an open office. I hope you're hearing whoever washed their hands.
I was like, I'm gonna say something whenever they walk out.
At least they're washing their hands.
I swear, if it's Jake, I'm gonna say something really mean.
He's editing.
Oh my gosh, it's Hallie.
Poor Hallie. At least she washes her hands. we have a clean office. So anyway, I was thinking, because this happened yesterday when I was scrolling, someone put the wrong like your or something like on the actual video, and there was all of these comments who were like, it's your, wrong your, like,
Mhm.
and then people were like, I ran to the comments just to say this, and I was like, that's kind of, if you did it on
Genius.
purpose, it's kind of genius, because now you're getting all of this. Like, I don't know if I could stomach like anyone on our team doing that intentionally, maybe for the right brand, but I don't.
I'm not gonna lie, I was early to a post on some big account on Instagram. I think it was like It Girl or something. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but they left out a word, and I was literally typing up, I think you meant to put, and then I was like, wait, I don't even need to comment that because I don't want to embarrass them. But the fact that I was like subconsciously doing that, not
Yeah.
even thinking about it,
It would
like, I
be
mean, I'm sure I was on that post for like 45 seconds or longer.
like debating about what to do.
Yes, yeah.
Well, and one thing we talk about with our clients a lot is like sometimes the negative stuff is like good. Like it's like positive for what does that say about social media? But like sometimes the ones that get people spun up the most,
Mhm.
like we have an account that goes viral, and anytime he gets spun up or like aggravated, like those posts pop off. Like
Mhm.
people love it. Or like he says something controversial, and then a lot of times that's what does the most.
Yeah,
Maybe I should just let you be more controversial.
yeah, maybe.
Speaking of, one of your best moments was on Barstool, right?
Yeah,
You want to talk about that?
yeah. In light of the
And what does it say about me as a boss that was like, yeah?
Yeah, no, whenever it was around, okay, so I got posted on Barstool or like Six Pack or something. I can't remember which one it was, but it was actually around the time I started working at South Maid. Thankfully, it was after I was already working here because, you hadn't like really got to know me yet. But it was actually in my caption for Meet Bailey, like our newest employee. You had mentioned.
I mentioned it.
Yeah,
That's
my
right.
feature on
Barstool.
it.
I think it was Barstool.
Yeah, but basically it was like the snow of 2014 in downtown, and I was going down the stairs of my apartment building in, yeah, did I say 2014? 2024.
Were you
Sorry,
in high
I'm
school
stuck on the
then?
2016 trend right now. No, it was it was 2024, sorry y'all. And I was going down the stairs of my apartment in a like plastic bin with a Joe Dirt mullet on and ski goggles, and I had a tall boy of probably White Claw, who knows, and I was
I can
chugging
probably
it
tell you. I can find it.
going down the stairs to they put the song Kesha, This Place About to Blow,
Sing it for
on
us.
it, yeah. And
And did it go
honestly,
viral? I have to
I
pull
am
it
proud
up
of that
now.
moment.
I mean, that was.
I know I was really living life then. You know what I'm saying?
You were creating cool shit.
I
Even
was
then.
creating cool shit
Let me
before I
see.
was creating cool shit, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I have this saved because I've used it several times for our like inner office memes. All right, let's see. It's a tall boy. We could put this on the screen too. Oh, I can't.
Oh, that's Michelob Ultra for sure. The fact that it was beer. Oh, and the beer tips over and spills everywhere in my apartment building.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
I think it shows your personality.
It does, 100%.
And that you're a good time. And you gotta be a good time to be good at your job.
Yeah.
I will say, kind of touching on that, since a lot of what we're talking about today is like standing out and applying and things like that. I do think within reason, though, you should clean up your feed a little bit before you apply, and kind of think about, perception is reality, and what you put out there publicly, people are going to have an opinion about it, good, bad, or in between. And so I'll say, personally, I don't know about some other businesses, maybe they like going to a feed and seeing 700 bikini pics and, the girl sticking her ass out and thirst trapping whoever, but I can tell you I don't.
Yeah.
Because what is that? So that's all you've got, that you're,
Yeah.
you look
I
at
mean,
a bikini.
keep your post up from Miami of you wearing like a cute outfit, but like it's don't wear a tube top and spandex and in the club.
I think,
Really.
when I was a cheerleading coach forever ago, eons ago, I used to tell my girls that, like, would you show it to your grandmother and be proud of it?
Right.
Or like, would you show it to your granddad? And if you would, Jerry's like, hell yeah. Like, I look good in that thong. And you know what? Maybe you do, but like, is that how you want to like lead?
Professionally. Yeah, there's a line, there's a balance. You can be cute, you can be, oh, here's my personality, but like.
And I want that. Like, again,
exactly.
I think it depends on who what you're applying for, and what you're trying to do, and what that business likes and puts out. I think for us, like, I 1,000% want to see a personality, and I'll tell you, like, the hiring staff at Southmade, they run to those accounts to like see, like, what are they doing? Do they have their own personal aesthetic? Do they, what are they kind of like sending out there into the universe? And
Hallie is like our FBI agent.
Literally, like, sleuth to the max, will find all of the things, good, bad, and in between.
Yeah. She's on your mom's Facebook.
No, for real, she really is. I mean, like, I always say too, like, there's nothing private about social media. Like, even if your account is private, like, there's other things out there. So I think that's important, especially when you're applying for like a job in social media, like being mindful of what's on your own feed
is even more important almost than.
Yeah, it's your personal brand, like, just like you would judge a restaurant for having like disgusting looking plates of food, or like, like the table is a mess. Like, if your feed is a mess, like, what does that say about you?
Yeah, what does that say about you?
So
it would be different if you're going into like, I don't know, almost any other job, and if your account was private, they wouldn't necessarily, But
I mean, I have talked to several other business owners, and they are looking because they want to see, like, your mutuals, or
that's
like,
true.
Where do you go? I think another thing that's important is, like, especially now, because there is this surplus of people who are applying for jobs, and I'm hearing over and over again, like, how long it's taking someone to get hired, and how many places they're applying to before they get a call back. So I think, when you're talking about like your personal brand, and like, you should want to work wherever you're applying and like doing the due diligence to look and see like what they're doing, what the day to day is going to be, and like, you know, it's easy for me to say like not just to get hired, but like where do you want to work and why, and that you're a good fit there and they're a good fit for you. And so thinking about, you know, doing that research first, like you should be following the brand that you're applying for. And I think that
Oh
goes
yeah.
down to even like if you're applying for, you know, a job at a restaurant, or you're applying for a job at a retail store, or like you should be following them and participating in their, and like invested in what they're doing if you're going to spend hours and hours of your day
Yeah.
there. You keep like
I
kicking
mean,
my
that's what.
leg.
Oh, sorry. I mean, that's also. Wait.
You want to touch me, Bailey?
I mean, that's also a way to like stand out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like go comment on every single South Made post and story that's ever been shared, but I mean, it puts your name out there. Get creative.
That's true.
I mean, is that not the motto here?
Yeah. And, you know, again, I think
Lean into it.
Lean into it. And if you're good with your personal brand, that normally is indicative of you're going to be good representing a brand.
Yeah.
Too, because you're aware of what that looks like. And, you know, and I think, again, like some, you know, you said earlier about you have to be able to switch between brands.
Oh yeah.
So I think, you know, kind of just understanding that as a whole, like when you're a marketing person, like what works for this account might not work for this account. And so I think it's important too to be aware of that and know that. And again, going back to personal brand, this is what I started saying, but you have to think about, it's not just the owner of that business checking out what you've got going on social, right? It's also the clients of that brand who, once you start representing that brand, are going to look and see your personal brand, and then like, do they want you to represent them? And especially I think for the younger people kind of coming into this world, you know, they're going to assume you don't know things because you're younger, and that's just the you know, the unfortunate truth, right? I like having a young team because I think it brings creative energy and enthusiasm. I tell like this one story a lot. My first principal, when I was a teacher, she told me in my interview, like, I like to hire young teachers because you're still like young and excited. You know, you're enthusiastic, you have ideas, you have energy, you have, you know, creative things. Like, you're still excited to get up and come to work every day versus like, you know, my older staff who comes in late.
Jerry said I come in when I want.
I thought you were giving CPR.
He was giving CPR to someone on Broadway, but anywho.
Let's call him out. If you're late, please stand up.
Bailey. I'm like,
Bailey! Fashionably late.
Yeah. Today.
You were doing your hair.
I just have to get red.
I know, honestly, in my head, I was like, he has probably not even left his house, so I'm gonna be like, hey, like it's urgent, but it's not like I didn't want you to feel like you were about to like. I was like, just so you know, like, we're doing it at 9. It's like 9:15.
Get up and give a damn. That's what she was saying. Low key, high key.
I didn't want to be like, hey, where are you? That would have been worse. It would have been worse.
What type of text gets you like nervous? When I text you, probably. Like,
there's a long list.
Whose
Yeah.
account
Oh my
is
gosh,
this?
that's perfect. Whose account is this? And then sends a screenshot of a post.
That could be
Everybody,
good,
if it's
too.
not your account, you're like, oh, I feel for you. But like, so glad it was not me.
Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But
Honestly, that hasn't happened in a while though. I feel like. Knock on wood. Yeah, sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I can start doing it today if you want. I can just call people out. You create cooler shit. This sucked. Who did this?
I thought we were just creating cool shit, man.
You used the wrong your. That actually
I'll refer
doesn't.
back to our podcast. Well, here you said.
Actually, that would be like a mic drop moment if I called you out for using the wrong your and you're like, actually,
I'm
I
like-
just took notes. And you were like, this could help a post perform well. I intentionally misspelled that word. That would, I would actually give you credit because then
Yeah.
you were like, you were playing chess, not checkers,
But only if you did it on purpose.
But I'm saying
Can't
if you
lie.
had the wherewithal to on the spot be like, this is why I did that.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
It'd be hard to yell at you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you were, thinking on your toes. But
Thinking outside the box.
anyway, so I think, for us with this, what we really want to do is just like kind of have genuine conversations, chat about the things that, are going on and maybe will be helpful to the people who are following us or the people who are interested in exploring a career in these things or interested in building a brand or their own brand or,
Yeah.
or just bored at work and want to listen to a podcast or people ramble.
Yeah. Maybe if you like Melissa's
Regimen.
voice.
Don't you want to hear this at night? Regimen.
Regime.
Regime?
Regime. Regimen. It's regimen. Yeah.
Regimen.
Or at least
Yeah, what
that's
did
how
I
all
say?
the influencers say it.
Regime.
Okay, hold on a second. Look up the definition of regime because I feel like it's something absolutely wild.
That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't it have to do with war?
That's what I'm saying. I
A
think
regime is war.
I swear, I think it's regimen.
Whenever I say regime, I feel like I'm speaking French.
Okay, I think you guys are wrong. I'm sorry if it's going to give me validation
Wait.
if
Look
I
it
was
up.
saying it right. Regime is like, yeah. Hold on.
Regime. Oh.
Hold on, I'm looking for it. How to say regimen. How funny that this exists. Everything's on obviously we'll cut through this bit.
Okay, regime. I'm getting a government, especially.
Regimen. Is that
Yeah.
what you said? So it's not regime.
Uh,
IMEN.
regime. REMI.
Regimen.
REGIME.
Regime. But see, regime is like in war.
Yeah,
Or like
well,
a government, whatever.
Yeah, a government, like an authoritarian government.
Right. Regime. Regime? No, regimen.
Regimen.
Yeah, gosh. That's going to be like, it's another one of those. Effect. All of those things that get people spun up. Anyway. You have anything else to add?
No.
Is Alani your drink of choice? Jerry said Red Bull.
It depends on what kind of day it is, because Red Bull doesn't really get me there.
It doesn't get you wings.
Yeah, it does not give me wings. Alani gives me wings, but that's because it's like double the caffeine. But depends on what kind of day it is.
We went to dinner last night, and I never have coffee late, ever. Not because it keeps me up, but I just don't, like I normally have my coffee in the morning and then whatever. And for whatever reason, Hallie's not here, we got coffee at like after dinner, and we were like chatting. I thought I was having a heart attack, legitimately. And I was like, this is what people used to like say, like, oh, it makes my heart race at night. Why does it make your heart race at night and not in the morning? Look that up. Somebody look that up.
It makes mine race as soon as I take the first sip.
Of an Alani or coffee.
Now, not as much as I used to. Yeah, no, I don't like coffee. But,
I feel like...
I mean, I used to never drink caffeine until I started here.
What does that say?
Nothing bad.
You need to be always
I just need to be
go.
quicker thinking.
And this does it for you.
It does it for me.
Well, cheers.
Maybe we should try like matcha or something. Healthy
Hell no.
alternative.